no one leaves your life as you get older. I knew this gentleman more from reputation than in person. We went to the same high school. We have some of the same friends. When we started performing at this particular place, it was like, oh yeah, I know, yeah, and you were here and you went there and you know this person and so on. He has always been good. And I'm delighted he showed up unexpectedly. And I'm not going to say anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, Zeb Pike.
Keep it going for Michael Durbecker. And thank you to the Center for Talking Arts for doing this, because I think I love storytelling because you get to connect with people in a way that's kind of different from other things. Like you decide to get up and do it yourself. You hear somebody you're sitting in the audience and you hear somebody get up on stage and they tell you something and you're like, oh yeah, that's like that thing that I went through, and then you decide to try it yourself. And you connect in ways that I think are really important right now. I've been doing this longer than our strange times have been going on, but it seems much more relevant at the moment. So my wife is really wonderful. She's smart, she's kind, she's caring. And about 10, 15 years ago, it was springtime, it was my birthday, and she came up to me and she said, I've got everything planned. You don't need to worry about any of it. We're gonna go out for wings, because my wife knows that I have a problem with wings. It's like I could literally eat them every night, and for a while I did, and then I was smart and I stopped doing that because I knew that was going to kill me. But it's a treat sometimes now. Like I can control that. She's like, our friends are going to meet us. We're going to go to Duff's because you like your wings buffalo and hot, and that's the best place. And our friends will meet us there. And I'm going to do all the driving so you can have as much beer as you want. And then she handed me a couple of tall boys, so I could start early, which was great. So, my day starts off, it's a beautiful spring day, and I've got a couple of beers in me, and two of our friends came to meet us at our place, and they were going to drive up with us, Toby and Paul. And Toby gets a little car sick, so she was sitting in the passenger seat up front, and I was sitting behind her in the back, and her husband, Paul, was next to me. My wife was driving. And it's just like, it's one of those, it's like the weather we've been having lately. It's like the first good weather after winter. You just feel, it just makes you feel so nice, even if it's still kind of chilly. And I've got the window down, and I'm in that beautiful space where I'm not drunk, but I'm not really sober either. I'm just like in that happy buzz, and everything's gorgeous. We're having a wonderful time. We're driving up towards the restaurant. We're going up Bayview, and we suddenly realize we've gone too far. We haven't really gone there very much. So, but we've gone too far, so we've got to turn around. So my wife, she pulls into a driveway, so she can back out. But as she pulls into the driveway, the lights just north of us change, and then suddenly there's a bunch of traffic. So we're sort of stuck in the driveway. And to be fair, she was blocking the sidewalk, which you're not supposed to do. But there's also nobody around, so who cares, right? It doesn't really matter. It's one of those rules where it only matters if it's actually going to affect people. But we're sitting there, and it's kind of a busy intersection, and there's a lot of traffic coming. So we're sitting there for a while, and after a bit, this guy comes riding up the sidewalk on his bicycle. He's like he could have been anywhere between 18 and 22-ish. Like, he was young. He's wearing really fancy sneakers. He's wearing cargo shorts. He's got a pristine white sleeveless undershirt. His hair is shaved super, super tight and dyed bleach blonde because he clearly wants to be Eminem. This is a guy that is definitely trying to look like Eminem. And as he approaches us, he just starts to scream, "You goddamn fucking drivers think you own everything. Get off the sidewalk!" Now, I'm not a cyclist. I believe cycling is the benefit for all of our cities, and I'm grateful for the infrastructure we've gotten since this incident happened. But I don't ride a bike. I've never really felt comfortable on them. I'm a pedestrian. I walk pretty much everywhere I go. I'll drive if I have to, but I will not if I can get away with it. If I have to, I can walk 2 hours to get someplace, but if I need to get there quickly, I'll take the subway as much of the way as I can and walk the rest. But I do believe in cycling. the problem is, as a pedestrian, at least twice a week, I get one of these assholes who are on the sidewalk and they like whip past you without any warning, and those guys piss me off. And because of that, and because I don't like people swearing at my wife, and also because I'm kind of drunk, I turn out the window and I look at him and I go, well, why don't you ride your bike on the road like a fucking grown-up? Now, that's a stupid way to respond to anyone. You're never going to make a bad situation better by swearing and using your big boy voice. That doesn't work. That doesn't negotiate well. My wife is, of course, much smarter than me. She does the smart thing. She just pulls up forward further into the driveway and clears the sidewalk so this idiot can get past us. But, of course, now it's already antagonistic between him and I. And I'm keeping my eyes on him because I don't trust him. And he rides past our car, and he gets about, 8 feet past the car, and then just out of nowhere, falls over on his bike. Just completely falls over. Does for no reason whatsoever. He also falls towards the car, so it's obvious that we didn't cause this. And my wife, being a wonderful, nice, innocent person, she's like, "Oh my God, Zeb, he fell. Look, he's having trouble getting up. You should help him." And I'm thinking, no, I'm not getting out of the car at this point. That's not going to make this any better. And I watched the whole thing happen. He didn't hit his head. He didn't hurt himself. He just kind of fell over. So I'm like, this is not our problem. And if I get out of the car, it's just going to become our problem. I think we should just leave. He's fine. He's big enough to take care of himself. And I think she kind of got the logic of that. And by then the traffic had cleared up. So she pulls out backwards and does this sort of, does the turn. So now we're heading, to go south. And suddenly he has no trouble getting up, and he's on me. All of a sudden, pop, 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 through the window. He punches me in the face 3 times. And my reaction is what the fuck? Because does it really, is that how quickly this is gonna escalate? This is stupid. And I just say to my wife, drive. And she says, I can't. And I turn and I look, and there's a guy that looks exactly like him. Blonde hair, white undershirt, standing right in front of our car. He's blocking us. He's just appeared out of nowhere, and we can't move the car. And my wife's kind of panicking. She's like, I don't know what to do. And Paul next to me is panicking, and he goes, run him down. And fortunately, she's smarter than that. She's smarter than both of us combined. And as I'm looking at this and trying to figure out what happens, pop, 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 3 more punches to the side of my head. This guy's just coming in through the window. And I have this moment of realization because he's just punched me in the head 6 times. And I kind of don't care. This guy clearly can't throw a punch. And here's the thing, I'm a pacifist. At some point in my life, long before this incident, I came to the understanding that violence was never going to solve any problems, and that I was going to do everything I can to solve all of my problems non-violently. And I've managed to, that's stuck with me. I've never done anything about it. But you get to a point when somebody's punched you in the head 6 times, and you have to say to yourself, this isn't going to stop unless I stop him. And I'm also thinking to myself, I think I can take him because he's already hit me 6 times, and it really hasn't, it literally did not hurt at all. But also, if you're gonna force me to fight you, I'm just gonna do whatever it takes to win because I don't want to fight. So one hand just kind of came down, and I popped my seatbelt as surreptitiously as I could, and my other hand reached out and grabbed the handle of the door, and I waited for him to come back in, and then as soon as he was going to come back in, I was just going to slam the door open, hopefully causing some pain and throwing him off, giving me the element of surprise. I don't know if he saw me, I don't know if he saw the look in my eye, I don't know what it was, but he did not come back for more. He stayed back, and he's like, "You asshole, you hit me with your car, I'm calling the cops." And I'm like, "You took a dive. Sorry, I saw the whole thing, we didn't touch you. You should absolutely call the cops because you just assaulted me. You just punched me 6 times. this is it. Like, call the cops. It's the smartest thing you could do. It's the best thing you could do for me. And he's like swearing at me, but he's like backing up. And by this point, his friend is backing away, and he's gotten out of the way. And as soon as he's gone, my wife's like, out of there. She pulls out. We're driving south. By this point, Toby's in the front seat. She's already on the phone with 911. Again, wives are smarter than husbands. I don't know what it is, but they seem to be in the right headset, at least in situations like this. And we're driving south on Bayview, and it's like I can't sit still because I'm no longer in that fight or flight mode. Like, I made that decision already. I'm ready to fight, but now there's no one to fight. And I'm just sitting there in the car, like, full of adrenaline, and I just, like, I can't sit still. We get like a few blocks south of there, and we pull off to the side so that the cops can meet up with us because they're on their way. And as soon as the car stops, I get out, and I'm like pacing back and forth because I've just got all this fucking energy in my body, and and then I walk out to the block, and I look up Bayview to see if they're following, and I'm looking, and I see that they're not coming, and that made me so angry, because in that moment, all I wanted to do was just to kick his fucking ass. I just wanted to show him what a stupid thing it is to go and punch strangers, and that was the moment that I felt violated. Because he certainly violated me when he punched me. But when he made me give up the thing that I believe in, the thing that I think is important in life, the thing that I think makes the world a better place, when he made me abandon that and turn me into an animal, that's when I felt violated. The cops arrived. I don't know how long it took, because by that point, time wasn't really functioning for me. I was starting to calm down, but I was still very hyper. The cops seemed to understand that. I told her what happened. She's like, okay, and our friends and my wife, they sort of corroborated everything and filled in some things that I maybe didn't remember. And the cop's like, okay, so here's the deal. She's like, we're not going to catch these guys. Just like straight up, she's like, we're not going to catch these guys. She's like, look, we're going to go back to the scene of the crime. We're going to go check it out, but they're not going to be there. And she's like, and after that, we'll go and we'll like check out the schoolyards and the parking lots where these kind of guys tend to hang out, but they're not going to be there either. And to be perfectly honest, you just described every teenage boy in this neighborhood. Like, we've got nothing to go on. She says, we're going to take this seriously, but I just want you to understand that there's nothing really ever is going to come of this, and you should just let it go. And you should just go and have dinner with your friends and enjoy your birthday and just try and get past this. And I'm like, and she was right. It made perfect sense. I got it. I understood that. And I was like, okay, thank you for helping. So we go to the restaurant, and all my friends are like, where the fuck have you been? Because a bunch of people they've been waiting for us. And at that moment, I realized that this guy just gave me a really good birthday present. Because I'm a storyteller. Like, this is what I do. And now I've got like a group of my friends, and I have a brand new story for them. And I'm like, oh yeah. So we sit down and I order some more beer. We order the wings, and I start telling my friends the story. We have like this really, really good birthday night. It's everything that we'd hoped it, everything my wife planned it to be. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. And at the end of the night, I've got like more beer in me than I should have had. And I'm sitting there. And the restaurant kind of goes a little quiet. And I look up at the front, and there's two cops at the front of the restaurant, and it seems like the manager doesn't really want to let them in. They're my cops, and which is such a weird thing to say, because I'm not really that fond of cops. But they're good when they're helping you. And so like everybody's in the restaurant's looking at the cops, and then the cop like points over at me, and then now everybody's looking at me, and they're like looking back and forth between me and the cops like it's some weird tennis match. And so I get up and I go out front with the cops, so just to, the manager doesn't have to worry about them being in the restaurant. And we go outside, and the cop looks at me. She says, "Well, we got him." And I'm like, again, I'm drunk at this point, not kind of drunk. I'm fully drunk. And I'm like, how did you catch him? You said that you weren't going to be able to, and it made perfect sense. Like this, now I'm confused. And she's like, well, we went we went back to the scene of the crime, and I was right. They weren't there, but there was witnesses that also saw what happened, and their story lines up exactly with yours. Like what they said is exactly what you said. So we know that you're telling us the truth. I'm like, okay, how did you catch him? She said, well, we went to the schoolyards and stuff. He wasn't really there. And I'm like, can you get to the point where you explain to me how this, you know, how you caught him? And she's like, oh, this is the best part. Like she's telling a joke. And she's like, so the kid, when he took the dive, which he was taking a dive, the kid being playing too much GTA, and he scraped his leg. Yeah, got a bit of a scrape on the side. And then he went home to his mom. His mom saw the scrape on his leg, and she's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" She's like freaked out. Her son was hurt. I would freak out if my kid got hurt and came home scraped. I wouldn't freak out that much. I'd probably just clean it and dress it and not worry about it. But she really freaked out, and she took him to the hospital. And she's like, "How did this happen?" And he's like, "Well, these people in their car hit me while I was on my bicycle." And so then she called the police, not knowing that they were already looking for him. And the cop's like, so it's up to you now. You gonna press charges against this guy for assault? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like standing out there on Bayview Avenue, and I'm really drunk, and now I have to make a decision about somebody's future. That's like a really important, serious decision that maybe you should be sober for when you make these decisions. And I was aware of that at the time, but I also kind of didn't want this to go on any longer. So I'm like sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, do I want to press charges against this kid? You know, because he's a kid. Like at this point, I realize he's probably a teenager. I'm like, wow, do I do this? I'm like, well, so what? I think to myself, I play it out in my head, and I'm sort of talking it out loud. I'm like, so let's just imagine for a second I do want to press charges. What's going to come of that? I figure it's probably one of two things are going to happen. He's going to get off with a slap on the wrist. I mean, this neighborhood is one of the richer neighborhoods of Toronto. This kid is a rich white thug. He thinks he's tough, but he's really had everything given to him in his entire life. And if he gets a slap on the wrist, he's going to come back with some kind of fake street cred to show off to his other rich white thug friends. I'm like, that doesn't do us any good. I said, the other thing that might happen if I press charges is he might go to jail, where he's probably going to meet a real criminal who's going to teach him how to be a real criminal. And in my opinion, that doesn't help any of us at all either. So I kind of don't see the point in pressing charges. But I also don't want to just like let this kid walk away from this. And I look at the cop and I'm like, I said, I don't want to press charges if I don't have to, but like what I would really like is if you could just like lean on him for a while. Like just make him sit with the idea that he's not going to go to university next year because he's going to be in jail. Let his parents sit with that for a little while. Let him like really sweat it over and like see, like, does he have remorse? Does he realize that he fucked up? Can you get him to roll over on his friend and maybe give up his friend too? And the cop just gets the biggest smile on her face, and she puts her hand on my arm and she's like, consider it my birthday present to you. Thank you very much.
Did you ever figure out who the identical twin was in front of the car?
Oh no, it was just his pal. I'm sure it was just some friend of his.
Just there was one more thing to take you out of. Firstly, this guy's hitting my head. Secondly, I'm drunk. And thirdly, there were two of them. What the hell?
It's like, yeah, he came out of nowhere. It's just like, that's why I actually think they were trying to pull some kind of weird scam, where he like took a dive on his bike, because this other kid came out of nowhere and just blocked our car.
Did the cop just lean on them and then disappear?
To be honest, I have no idea what happened. The cop never said anything. I never heard back from them ever again. And by that point, I didn't care. You know, like I would like to assume that he sweated it out. He probably was maybe spent an evening just completely shitting himself. And then the cop was like, "Hey, look, the guy's decided he's not gonna."
Perfect.
You know, he's let him go. That was me giving him a break.
Perfect. Thank you for telling it. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.